You're watching the Cowboys Report, presented today by Manscaped. If you got to trim down some stuff downstairs and maybe lead us some more off-the-field success, use Manscaped. We'll tell you all about them later on in today's show. I do want to get going with the Amari Cooper injury update. I know this kind of popped up in the game more so, and I wanted to include it again as part of today's video. He is dealing with some bumps and bruises, as Amari Cooper so often does. It's a rib and a hamstring injury. Now, I'm not very concerned about this. I think what we're at is the fairly normal Amari situation, where he's going to be a bit banged up all year long. He's always been someone who gets nicks and bumps and bruises, and more often than not ends up playing through them. It's a very similar situation to Julio Jones back in his prime in Atlanta. He was always on the Wednesday injury report. I think you'll see something similar with Amari. Here's what Cooper said post-game. Quote, I think it's good. I think it's going to be good. I just tweaked it in reference to his hamstring. It's just part of the game. I'm going to rehab it and get some treatment on. As long as I can run, I'll be good. Cooper, outside of the first game, hasn't been as productive. Now, he had a great touchdown catch. By the way, that throw and catch from Dak was, oh boy, that was prime stuff right there. But Cooper and really the entire Cowboys offense's numbers haven't quite been, at least in the passing game, what you thought. They haven't had to throw it as much, which is a good thing for the record, by the way, in the past couple games. And they've spread the ball around. Blake Jarwin has gotten some. Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Cedric Wilson had a touchdown catch against the Panthers in Week 4. I think Cooper's still, maybe we should just go with wide receiver 1A, wide receiver 1B for Amari and CeeDee Lamb. Both of these guys are very talented players. I'm not really concerned at all short-term about Amari Cooper. He'll be limited in practice as a game, that'd be my guess. And then he'll play in the game. He'll be productive. He'll have the occasional quiet game as well. I'm not concerned. Amari Cooper's still a young receiver. Now, when he gets closer to age 30, I'm worried about those injuries. I'm worried about adding or shortening his career in the NFL later on. Right now, though, I'm not very concerned. He's always a bit banged up, and he always plays, and he always puts up 1,000 yards in a season. But I want you guys to get your votes in as well. What is your concern level over Amari Cooper? Get your votes in for me using the scale you see on screen. 1 being almost no concern, 10 being you're melting down and you're praying for more Noah Brown for whatever reason. This is the pinned comment, by the way, on today's video. If you get the ad break here, scroll on down and get your votes in. Let's hit some rumors now in this one. You guys know how I feel about Dak Prescott. Is Dak Prescott the closest thing right now to Tom Brady? Okay, I get what Michael Irvin is saying, by the way, but I'm only going to give this one 2 stars. For starters, Irvin said he would take Dak over any quarterback not named Tom Brady. First off, wrong answer on both. It's still Patrick Mahomes, short-term and long-term. I do think Irvin made some good comparisons to some of their strengths. Here's my problem. Do not compare anyone ever to Tom Brady. That's not a fair comparison. Brady's the GOAT. It's the same reason why when we're scouting draft prospects, you don't compare anyone to Patrick Mahomes. It's not fair. Those guys are rare players. Here's what Michael, one of the 88s at receiver, had to say. He can win any kind of way he needs to win a football game. He can beat you throwing the ball over the field. He can lead his group and raise his group. He is a leader. I agree with that from a leadership perspective. That's fair. But stop comparing players to Tom Brady. That's going to end up with disappointment in the end. Now, if you want to avoid some disappointment, make sure, and some disappointment for your girl out there too, make sure you guys are using Manscaped. 20% off and free shipping on all their great men's grooming products, including the Lawnmower 4.0, because they did it for Dak as well. The promo code you see in the bottom of your screen, along with the URL, it'll be in the comments section and in the description. 20% off and free shipping, but you got to use promo code Cowboys at checkout and ensure that things end up being a little bit better in terms of the the downstairs nether regions when things are getting hot and heavy, and you don't want a bunch of unkempt, downstairs junk. That's something nobody wants. So get the 20% off and the free shipping on the best men's grooming products out there at manscaped.com. Use promo code Cowboys. Back to Dak Prescott now. You guys know he manscapes. I want to emphasize this part again. This is not designed to be shots at Michael Irvin or shots at Dak Prescott. I think the production's very clear. Obviously, guys, you guys have watched the show for a while. You know how I feel about Dak Prescott. I think he is a top 5, top 10, top 3, top 8, top whatever quarterback. He's great. I don't like these comparisons. I think these comparisons are designed, and I guess it got me to do it, to react something that's a bit outlandish and hot takey. Don't compare current quarterbacks to Tom Brady. The odds of you even winning multiple Super Bowls are profoundly low. Look at Manning. It took him having a great defense in Denver to win a second. Look at Drew Brees. A Lock Hall of Famer, only won one of them. Brady ruined expectations for every quarterback in around his generation. It's not going to happen that simply, that easily. So I don't like the comparison. I don't think it's fair to Prescott. There are some similar leadership traits, but nobody's Brady. There probably will never be another Brady ever again. Rather, if you want to compare stuff, we can compare to current quarterbacks who are not named Tom Brady. Players that are more in the historical significance area for Dak Prescott as we sit right now. So among current quarterbacks, and if you want to compare Brady currently to Dak currently, that's fair. That makes more sense than Brady the GOAT comparisons. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Rank Dak among NFL QBs. Is he first? He's not. Third, fourth, fifth, eighth, 10th, whatever. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Our next rumor is Micah Parsons doing everything? This is 4 stars. Those of you who have watched the show in the past, I don't know if it was a mailbag or a preview or whatever, I had kind of asked, hey, can Micah Parsons be out there more? Can the Cowboys, I should say, find a way to get him on the field as often as possible? In an ideal world, well, this was my phrase, in an ideal world, can the Cowboys get Parsons at linebacker on first and second downs in a non-run situations, and can they find a way to also get him on the field on third downs in more obvious passing situations? Well, guess what the Cowboys found a way to do this past week? They got him out there for pretty much every snap. He was out there for all but one snap, and he did linebacker duties, did some blitzing duties, did some edge duties as well. This is pretty insane. Micah Parsons in week 4. 28 coverage snaps, 22 run support snaps, 18 pass rushing reps. It's kind of in that, if you've watched the Patriots, in that kind of peak Kyle Van Noy type of mold where he's doing a little bit of everything. Now, I think I would take some of those coverage snaps and make them pass rushing snaps, but still, it's an ideal world. You want Parsons out there every single play because here's where they're at defensively, right? At linebacker, Parsons is one of your, if not your outright best linebacker. Better than Smith, better than the soon-to-return, should be back this week, Keanu Neal, Leighton Vander Esch. Edge rushers right now, he's probably your second best one behind Randy Gregory, and you can make an argument Parsons is just as good as Gregory. And I don't know if it's sustainable to have Micah Parsons out there for 100% or 99, 98% of the snaps each game. But if you can do it to help your run support on early downs and still blitz him plenty, have him be an edge rusher, I think that's ideal. You saw several times past 2 games where the Cowboys linebackers weren't always in their right gap. Sometimes Parsons as well. But if you can utilize him as this rare, unique, ultimate Swiss Army knife, I think that's in Parsons and the current Cowboys roster best interest, where he can still be a key linebacker for you and can still get him as a patch. Because I don't love Parsons in coverage yet, and I don't love Parsons as a run setter, as a pass rusher. So if as difficult as it is from a pure volume perspective, if you can make that work, you can get both the best of both worlds, That's really good usage by Dan Quinn. Probably can't happen every week, but I loved it in week 4. So I want you guys right now to grade Micah Parsons this year. A, B, C, D, or F. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Let's talk Zeke Elliott now, folks. And again, those of you who have been subscribed know how I felt about Zeke and Parsons and Dak throughout the years. But is he back? I am giving this 3 stars. And we kind of mentioned this on Monday's video as well. But Zeke is definitely better than what he was last year. I think we all know that from that perspective. The Zeke praise is back on the menu after a bit of a slow start to the year. I think he's coming off one of his best games in a while. And Jerry Jones made this point about how Zeke put all this time and effort in. The preseason hype was Zeke's in the best shape of his life, and he's back. I'm not sure he is back to being peak rookie year Zeke. I'll explain why in a minute. But I think what Jerry Jones said is true. Quote from Jerry, "There's no question that when you put in the spring what you put in training camp, that's what you get out during the season. He put it in during the offseason, and it's paying dividends for him." The Cowboys have been able to reduce the touches for Zeke Elliott, in part because of the presence of Tony Pollard. I think that's made Zeke fresher during games. 64 carries, 5.3 yards per carry as well. Zeke looks more explosive. I don't think he's back to that 2016 Elliott. He had the 47-yard run against the Panthers that he did get caught from behind by. And that's okay. You're not going to complain about a 47-yard play. But though that was his longest run since his rookie year. And in that rookie year, he outran everybody on the Bengals defense. I don't think the true top-end speed is quite back yet from Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think it's all the way there. And I'm not sure it's ever going to be. He's older. The shelf life for backs isn't as long as it was either. But I think that, and I've mentioned this before too, utilizing both Elliott and both Pollard helps them maximize each other. By having Zeke out there fewer touches, it makes him fresher. By allowing Pollard to be kind of the change of pace back, he can get hot and get going. I think that utilizing both of these guys is a smart path for the Cowboys. So is Zeke ever going to be true 2016 explosive, massive runs, 350 carry guy like Derrick Henry? No, probably not. And that's okay. If you get something resembling this version of Zeke, that's a really good thing for the Dallas Cowboys.